I'm Scott Finch, principal of Hebron High School. And let us get this ceremony started. Please welcome Hebron High School Student Council President and Miss HHS, the talented Miss Neha Hussein.
Thank you, Mr. Finch. Audience, you may be seated. Family, friends, faculty, and of course, Hebron High School's graduating class of 2015. Welcome. I would like to start by thanking my family and friends for being such an amazing support system these past 4 years. I could not have done it without your unconditional love and patience. But most importantly, I'd like to thank Hebron senior class. It has been such an honor to represent you all. We are genuinely a class unlike any other. Some might say we are literal fire because of the number of times we've had to evacuate the building. Others say we're the bomb, so much so that we were put under lockdown because of a hoax bomb threat. People even say we're icy, so icy that we shut down the school in a mini snowpocalypse. But in all seriousness, Hebron is truly one of a kind. With a Netflix-themed homecoming, a girls' cross-country team winning state, Peter Pan flying through Neverland with theater, a new feminism club, student council hosting district convention, and a memorable football season with a stellar onside kick, amongst many other phenomenal accomplishments, the Hebron Hawks definitely had a year to be proud of, even if student council is infamously known to rig everything. And we have learned so many valuable lessons along the way from our Hebron faculty, so many lessons of what to do and what not to do and everything in between. Mr. Stroud, Miss Boyd, and Mr. Leader, just to name a few. Thank you for everything you've taught us. We have learned so much. It is because of y'all that we have learned to never stop asking questions, even if there isn't a definitive answer. For instance, what is mid-thigh? Although I'll never know what the dress code actually was, what I do know is the impact Hebron High School has left on each of us. The unforgettable memories and unique experiences are powerful moments for us to remember for years to come. Whether it be at the rap circles at block lunch, or even Doba Tuesday after school, those are the memories that will follow us forever. As the halls cleared and we made it through the dreaded traffic on Charles, our last day of high school was over. No more pinkies up at the kickoff of football games, no more buying AP study materials the night before the test, no more frantically waiting to see our grades or attendance on Skyward, and no more conservative farming community. And most importantly, no more funny joke Fridays. And I know it's not Friday, but I do have one last joke, okay? What is the one thing seniors don't need Spark Notes to read? Their diploma. Huh? No? But in all seriousness, these are all simply bittersweet memories now. Each of us is now ready for bigger and better things. As we proceed through this graduation, think back on all the wonderful memories you made during the past 4 years, and remember why you are and always will be proud to be a Hawk, because after all, Hawk pride never dies. Thank you. Now please rise for the presentations of colors and the performance of the national anthem. Audience, please be seated. And now, I have the honor of introducing the President of the Science National Honor Society. Here's Manan Chopra with some opening remarks.
Good morning, friends, family, esteemed faculty, and the class of 2015. You guys deserve it. I would first like to say how thankful and honored I feel to stand before you on the stage today. Most of us started high school as wide-eyed freshmen as the second entering class in the brand new 9th grade Student Center. At first, we were sheltered on our own campus, but once we reached the main campus, aside from being very confused by the incorrectly colored walls of Hebron, we began to feel a certain pressure. The pressure I'm speaking about is the pressure of finding our passions. In high school, we are faced with expectations of finding our purpose and knowing exactly where we are going. Regardless of where we see ourselves in the future, I would like to introduce an example of what I think applies to pursuing knowledge and education. Some people compare education to the filling of the mind, or metaphorically filling a bucket or a cup. The mind should not be like a bucket, but rather like a flame. A bucket can eventually get completely filled up and begin to overflow, but a fire can spread forever and turn into a conflagration. Once we find our passions, we must use it to ignite that fire. The fire that can turn into something huge, a lot bigger than the tiny spark of curiosity that was once started by. Many of us are continuing on to pursue upper-level education. Some of us have grown tired of the sleepless nights slouched over textbooks. iPads. Sorry, textbooks don't exist anymore. And our parents walking in and seeing us on our technology and questioning, "Are you really studying?" Joking aside, many of us continuing on to college won't really be experiencing much of that anymore. I'm talking about the constant guidance and advice, or, lectures from our parents. Not necessarily the lack of sleep or studying on Twitter and WorldStar hip-hop vines all night. For those of us going on to college or heading into the workforce or the armed forces, I believe that the earlier we start searching for our passions, the sooner we will be rewarded. To get the most out of our education and realize our true potential, we must leave our comfort zone, try new things, and become the leaders of future innovation and change. Along the journey, there will be obstacles that try to douse that fire or blow it out or somehow weaken the flame. But whatever may happen along our paths, we should not give into complacency or simply slowly fill the bucket of our minds. I urge you instead to be the cause of the fire. Speaking about the fire, I can't help but mention our school's recent case of evacuation due to flammable popcorn. But anyways, I encourage you to start that fire and allow it to spread into a conflagration, because a bucket can only be filled so high, but a fire can be spread everywhere. In the next couple of years, we shall find our passions and let them catch fire and extend everywhere so we become the next visionaries and leaders. As we graduate high school, it is very important to realize that there were people who supported us all along our journey. People who told us to not give in to the pressure when it mattered the most, and people who burned the midnight oil alongside us, helping us reach our goals. Well, today, we have all reached one very important goal. We should let this accomplishment be an important milestone in our lives, but we must also use it as a stepping stone. The achievement we have accomplished today is the culmination of 12 years of hard work and should be our stepping stone to the next phase of our lives. Along the way, we have had plenty of guidance from friends, family, and mentors. I would personally like to thank Steve Jobs for inventing the iPad and Texas Weather for coming in clutch and giving us so many days off from school, and for recently creating a small river in the Hebron parking lot. I want to take this opportunity to say goodbye to SchoolWeb and Skyward. I would like to thank them for letting me down one last time and for the mild heart attacks experienced while submitting assignments at 11:59 p.m. I would also like to personally thank my excellent teachers the assistant principals, my counselor, Mrs. Rayford, Mr. Finch, my friends, and the real teachers for the past 17 and a half years, my parents and my sister. Starting today, it is now our time to build our own legacy. All along the way, LISD has actually been saying the same thing. The LISD motto states, quote, "We must pursue real innovation and limitless opportunity." Don't allow yourself to be confined to just a bucket, but rather use your passion to start a fire that will extend without a limit. I wish you all the best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you very much. I would now like to introduce the captain of the Hebron soccer team and our very own senior class president, Austin Wyman.
Thank you, Monin. Good morning, Hebron High School, class of 2015, graduates, friends, and family. It is with great honor and humility that I stand here before you today. Personally, I'd like to thank my friends and family for always supporting me and for making my high school experience truly unforgettable. On behalf of the senior class, we'd like to thank our outstanding teachers, coaches, directors, counselors, administrators, and support staff who have helped mold us into young adults prepared to take on the challenges of the world. We cannot be grateful enough for what you have done and what you continue to do in our lives and in the lives of every student that walks through the doors at Hebron. I admit that we often take our teachers and administrators for granted, but it is now that we can look back at the profound impacts they had on us and be truly grateful for the sacrifices they made. I remember back to freshman year when I thought I had it all figured out. They told us that high school was going to fly by, and we blew them off, knowing we had plenty of time before our graduation day came. We have witnessed the classes before us come and go, waiting for our turn to walk the stage. Well, now here we are, all dressed up in our caps and gowns, excited and nervous to embrace the challenges and changes that wait for us in the near future. For some of us, eager to start the next chapter of life's journey, this day couldn't come quickly enough. For others, we've been looking ahead to this day, wishing we had more time to hold on to the people and memories we hold so dear. As we move on, past graduation and into what adults like to call the real world, remember that this moment is not the end of our high school story, but the beginning of a new story in the story of our lives. A story that is in the process of being written at this very moment and will be added to every day hereafter. A story that is open for the world to read and interpret. A story that has the potential to change lives and make a difference in the world, no matter how unbearable it may seem at times. So what will your next chapter entail? How will the experiences and memories of your past shape the kind of person you want to be in the future? What can you do to make your story one to remember, one that inspires and motivates all who hear it, one that leaves a lasting legacy for generations to come? Your pen is ready and your paper is set, so get ready to go out and write the story of your life. Life is not a destination, it's a journey. There's no doubt that every one of us in here has worked hard to be sitting where we are now. You should be proud of yourselves for earning the diploma that you have all spent years working towards. And whether you like it or not, life is not a destination, it's a journey. And your learning does not end with a diploma. Life is less about where you are going, but more about how you get there. In life, it is okay to explore sometimes, not knowing exactly where you are wandering or why. In fact, I encourage you to explore. Explore all of the wonders life has to offer. Meet new people, try new foods, learn new hobbies, and discover new passions. Take risks and be prepared to see your lives change in amazing and wonderful ways. Over the past year, I've come to love one of the motivational posters Mr. Finch has in his office. It says, "A ship in a harbor is safe, but that's not what ships were made for." You have been given such a remarkable opportunity in this life. Do not settle for what is comfortable. Take a risk and venture out beyond your harbor. Embark on a journey to explore the world, searching the seas for your heart's true passions. Don't be discouraged if you get it wrong once or twice. Just climb aboard your ship and keep exploring. Life is what you make of it, so let's make it memorable. You are the captain steering the ship, and you are the author writing your story. Don't be afraid to take a chance on life's journey. Don't be afraid to set out beyond the comforts of your harbor. Don't be afraid of the blank page before you, but be brave, knowing that with the pen in your hand, you have the opportunity to write life's greatest story. As Natasha Bedingfield puts it, today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. And always remember, after all, Hawk pride never dies. Thank you. Now, please welcome back to the stage the incredibly tall and handsome Mr. Scott Finch.
Thank you, Austin. I appreciate that. I've never really been called tall before, but at this time, I'd like to invite our senior band members to take their place with the band. Now I would like to introduce our honored guests on stage and on the front row before me. Let me coach you on this. Please hold your applause until all introductions have been made of each group. I'll have several groups that I will introduce, and we'll introduce them as a group. Honored guests behind me and in front of me, when your name is called, please remain standing. After receiving your applause, each group may be seated. Students, we'll see how we do with this. First is the LISD Board of Trustees. First is President, Mrs. Tricia Sheffield. Vice President, Mr. Tracy Scott Miller. Secretary, Mrs. Chris Vaughn. Trustee, Mrs. Angie Cox. Trustee, Mrs. Christy Hassett. Trustee, Mrs. Brenda Latham. And our new trustee is Mrs. Kronda Timish. Please give them a warm welcome. Next is our district's revered leadership team. First, Assistant Superintendent of Strategic Initiatives and Community Engagement, Dr. Beth Brockman. Chief Technology Officer, Mrs. Barbara Brown. Associate Superintendent of Learning and Teaching, Dr. Penny Riddell. Our East Zone Leader, Mrs. Leanne Lewis. Please give these officials a warm welcome. Next is the leadership team of Hebron High School. First, the principal of Hebron High School 9th grade campus, Mr. Mark Dalton. Hebron High School assistant principals, Mr. Dedrick Buckles, Mr. Jacob Garlinger, Miss Sandra Lee, Mrs. Vanessa Robichaux, and Mr. Michael Vargas. Hebron 9th grade campus assistant principals, Mr. James Scott and Mrs. Amanda Wernicke. And lastly, Hebron High School's lead counselor, Mrs. Tracy Schinkel. Please give our campus leaders a warm welcome. Next are our most prominent seniors, valedictorian Young Jang and salutatorian Joel Thomas. How about a hand for them? Next, seated below me and in the front row are 10 of the best principals in the state. They are principals of our Hebron feeder schools. First, Arbor Creek Middle School Principal, Mrs. Joni Finch. We are related. She looks like my daughter, but she's actually my wife. Next is Killian Middle School Principal, Mrs. Deanne Angonia. Hebron Valley Elementary School Principal, Miss Adrienne Gall. Pulsar Elementary School Principal, Mr. Adam Gray. Cowdy Ridge Elementary School Principal, Mrs. Michelle Jacobson. Tom Hicks Elementary School Principal, Mr. Curtis Martin. Homestead Elementary School Principal, Mr. Sean Perry. Castle Hills Elementary School Principal, Mrs. Donna Taylor. And Independence Elementary School Principal, Mrs. Teddy Winslow. Please give this group a hand. And lastly, he stands alone as the leader of our school district, our superintendent of schools. I've known Dr. Kevin Rogers for over 21 years. Please welcome the Honorable Dr. Kevin Rogers, Superintendent of LISD. Thank you, honored guests, for joining us today. Please welcome our band playing the Imperial March by John Williams. Please give them a hand. Please welcome your salutatorian, the intelligent and very fit Mr. Joel Thomas.
I'm sorry, I'm just admiring myself. I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm sexy. I want to give an applaud to the parents out on the stage because, I mean, it's not just me, obviously. All of you guys are really beautiful. So I want to give applaud to the parents. You guys have obviously done a nice job with us. So Hebron class of 2015. Hey, what's up? Hello. Thank you, Mr. Finch, for the warm welcome. I appreciate it. I also appreciate the band's awesome music. I'd also like to invite the choir to move to the risers at this time so we can have some more music later on. First and foremost, I want to thank God, my family, friends, parents. Shout out to Mr. Kuhn and Ms. Rooks for being big influences in my life. You guys have been a big part of my life throughout my high school career, so thank you. And as I said, none of this would be possible without our parents. As I learned in biology this year, we literally wouldn't be here without our parents. Oh, that's a different day. Looking out into the crowd, I see 4 of the greatest years of my life. Every day brought a new adventure, a new journey. I never failed to see new sights and learn new words in the boys' restroom. Every experience at Hebron High School has taught me something new. I may be brainwashed, but maybe green does go well with blue, silver, and black. But regardless, we've come together to walk across this stage as high schoolers one last time. This speech doesn't do justice to all the emotions and feelings we must all be feeling right now. Even though I wrote it literally this morning, I can't sum up all the feelings that we've had throughout this journey. We've all had our share of memories at Hebron High School, and that's what's made it great. How could we ever forget those lovely green hallways and green locker rooms and green grass in the front yard? How could we forget getting our 4th, 5th, and 6th tardies during the same week? And how could we forget prom 2015? How could we forget prom 2015? The future is a strange, mysterious place for us all. Some of us will go into college, some into the military, or some straight into the workforce. The rest of us will mooch off our parents for the next 10 years while playing video games. And that's not a problem. League of Legends, World of Warcraft, or whatever. To each his own. Regardless of what our future holds, we're all in pursuit of some perfection. I've learned that everyone is beautiful in their own way, some more apparent than others. And I've also learned from others that my mixtape is fire. We know what we are, or at least we think we know what we are, but we know not what we may be. Everywhere around us are people saying that perfection is impossible. And maybe they're right, perfection may not be attainable, but if we chase perfection, we may just catch excellence. We spend our whole lives worrying about the future, planning for the future, and trying to predict the future, as if figuring out the future will somehow cushion the blow. But the future is always changing. The future is the home of our deepest fears and our wildest hopes, but one thing is certain. When it finally reveals itself, the future is never the way we imagined it. But what we have now is immortality, because in the present we have youth and not a care in the world. And I'm probably scaring off the parents here, but I'm sorry. It's true. I'm sure you felt the same way at one point. I think what will stick with us the most will be the memories, the good, the bad, and the unknown. I won't forget the whip or the nay-nay. The late night with friends and the early mornings in detention. Long talks after school, and just meeting new friends every day. For all the lovebirds out there, I know you won't forget the first time you looked into your special somebody's eyes. And for all the haters out there, I know you won't forget the first time you saw my beautiful eyes. But as much as we've complained about this place over the past 4 years, it has still been our home. The past cannot be changed, but the future is still in your control. As I said, when I look into this crowd, I see some of the greatest years of my life. But when I look into this crowd, I see some of the greatest years yet to come. I want to close by saying 2 things I usually say in each of my speeches. First is, if you were wondering, yes, I am single. If you want the digits, holla at me, single ladies. And second, Hebron class of 2015, I can honestly say that what we have here is greatness. What we've done now is nothing. What we have in front of us is everything. Hebron Class of 2015, our journey will end with greatness. Thank you. And now enjoy the Hebron High School Choir, directed by Miss Rachel Forrester, followed by the legend himself, our class valedictorian, Young Jang.
Thank you, Joel, and thank you, Hebron Choir, for that beautiful performance. Thank you, parents, teachers, administrators, friends and students, and all families for gathering here today. First, I want to thank those who have helped me get to where I am now. My family, my mother, my father, my brother June, all my family in South Korea, as well as my second family here in the United States, Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, Corey, Ari, Bailey. Thank you all for your amazing support and love and the blessings. I'm honestly so thankful and grateful to have a loving family, and I hope that I made you guys proud. To my amazing teachers and administrators, Mr. Jeffrey Willard, you taught me the bare bones of English and the bare bones of critical thinking. Ms. Courtney Herring, you've inspired a sense of curiosity and enthusiasm that no one else could. Thank you to Mr. Bill Kuhn. Your physics class was one of the funniest, most interesting, and intellectually stimulating classes ever. Thank you to Mr. Finch for his work in maintaining and leading our conservative farming community. And a special shout out to Mr. Vargas for being an amazing driver and a fun person to be with during the DECA ICDC trip. Today, I want to share a small life story with you all, and 2 things I learned from this experience. So follow me, and let's travel back in time to 8th grade, a time when, as my friend Heath put it, awkwardness exuded from everyone in the halls. In the middle of my 8th grade year, my grandfather was diagnosed with terminal cancer. My family rushed back to South Korea in order to be with him in his final moments, but life is often filled with unexpected occurrences. My grandfather lived for 3 months longer than what the doctors had estimated, and as a result of this unexpected delay, all my family's visas expired. After a respectful mourning period, we filed for a new visa, but it was a long process that would eventually leave us stranded in Seoul for 9 months. So naturally in Korea, I had a lot of free time on my hands. I spent a lot of that time analyzing one of the greatest pieces of literature known to man. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. Clearly, I'm talking about the Nickelodeon show SpongeBob SquarePants. Now, I began to watch SpongeBob often, not because I always wanted to, but because it was the only channel that didn't constantly have K-pop and K-dramas. So for those of you who are not familiar, SpongeBob SquarePants is a show about a yellow sponge and his neighbor, Squidward Tentacles. Now, SpongeBob is not exactly what you would call the pinnacle of success. You see, SpongeBob is a fry cook at a burger restaurant, and he lives in a pineapple. Squidward, on the other hand, may be a cashier at the burger place, but he has a nice face-shaped condo and a very expensive clarinet to play. But even though Squidward had all these material things that SpongeBob didn't, Squidward was not happy. In fact, Squidward was very, very bitter, and I wondered, why? And after much analysis and thorough examination of the literature, I realized that it's because SpongeBob did not let negative energy get to him. SpongeBob, no matter what the situation, tried to find the best outlook on his life. Whether it be jellyfish stinging him or Mr. Krabs cutting his entire paycheck, SpongeBob remained happy. And from this show, I learned that being happy is not about the superficial things. It's about removing negative energy from my life. And I regretted wasting so much time fighting and arguing about the things that did not matter with the people that mattered. So I no longer deal with energy vampires in my life. I'm sure a lot of the teachers can agree also. My life isn't perfect, but it's a lot better. I no longer choose to be right. I choose to be happy, like the yellow sponge under the sea. Second, I learned that it all changes in an instant. One day I was sitting in Creek Valley Middle School, learning how to find the slope of an equation in Mr. Dean's class. And the next day I was rushing back to South Korea. And I had no idea when I would return. And in fact, there was even a possibility I would never return. And that made me really sad. It made me sad because I had this mental list of things that I wanted to do. All the people that I wanted to reach out to that I didn't. All the fences and relationships I could have mended that I didn't. All the opportunities I could have had and I didn't. And I realized that I had taken my friends, my environment, my education, and my life in the United States for granted, and I really regretted and missed it. Reflecting on that, I decided to no longer postpone anything in my life. So when the fruit of opportunity is ripe and ready, I'm seizing it. I don't want to leave things up for tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year. If the time is right and the opportunity is present, I'm taking it. I was given the chance to learn many valuable life lessons during my time in South Korea. And having family so far away from the States, I have a hard time saying farewells. But remember, friends, for every goodbye, there's a hello, and for every ending, there's a new beginning. Hebron class of 2015, my deepest congratulations to each and every one of you for your graduation today. And I challenge you to think about the 3 questions I have as you begin your new chapter of your life. What will you get done that you're waiting to get done because you think you'll be around here forever? How will you change and deal with the negative energy in your life? And more than anything, are you being the happiest person you can possibly be? Thank you very much. Now please welcome our great leader of our conservative farming community, Mr. Scott Finch, for the presentation of class.
Thanks, Young. That was great. I'm going to have to check out SpongeBob. And Joel, thank you too for your speech. I'm concerned about your lack of confidence. At this time, I would like to ask the high school staff to take their positions off stage for the presentation of diplomas. Dr. Rogers, I am pleased to present to you the senior class of 2015 of Hebron High School. There are before us 765 exceptional seniors. I have verified that each of these seniors have met the requirements of the Texas Education Agency and the Louisville Independent School District and should be awarded the appropriate diploma or certificate at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Finch. To you, the Hebron High School class of 2015, please know that we are very proud of your accomplishments. We look forward to even greater achievements in your future. Congratulations. Ms. Sheffield, Mr. Finch has verified that these students are eligible to receive their diploma or certificates. Therefore, by the authority vested in me by the state of Texas and the Louisville Independent School District Board of Trustees, I certify them. Their diplomas or certificates are to be granted at this time. Congratulations.
At this time, would the front rows please rise? Teacher leaders, we may now approach the stage.
Young Jang. Joel Thomas. Austin Kurt Weinman. Neha Malik Hussein. Manali Gauthami Nimani. Victor Matthew Franklin Miller. Sean Dariush Fahimi. Christopher Kwong Lee. Mitchell Owen Belmer. Srija Srinivasan. Beiming Yi. Pranav Nair. Megan Marie Montgomery. Hector Ricardo Hernandez. Zaira Rizvi. Elizabeth Marie Loyal. Lainey Chiowin Mack. Anthony Lin Kai Chan. Manun Singh Chopra. Nu Ri Lee. William Heath Cook. Bethany Ann Colbert. Jeremy Jose. Jacob Tyler Cheatham. Kyle David McCarver. Devin Mitchell Warwick. Brandon Chase Harrison. Molly Elizabeth Lansford. Michelle Denise Sanchez. Max Jian Chen. Ali Mehmood Panjwani. Ryan Thomas Losh. Ryan James Fitzgerald. Rachel Renee Phillips. Ju-Sung Lee. Selena Lee. Christine Hyun Cho. Kelly Marie Phelps. Robert Austin Malasig. Kelly Corinne Mullen. Zaina Abbas. Devin Robert Wright. Ni Bao Bui. Rachel Manuel. Theodrix James Spencer. Arthur Kim. Ivan Vega Vera. Brittany Noel Maida. Catherine Michelle Allard. Austin Marie Carter. Annie Wangyung Lee. Sharon Rachel Mathai. Jordan Michelle Whiteley. Lauren Elizabeth Sheffield. Maximilian Thomas Freeman. Andrew Min Kong Tamavong. Daniel Sinju Kim. Sophia Marin. Jensen Danielle Armstrong. Brian Hu Win. Jared Joseph Bajani. Osman Mohammed Yassin. Rachel Unbi Ko. Jenna Nicole Vasily. Peyton Lucienne Roberts. Bailey Danielle Reeves. Nigel Philippos Rajan. Janet Sajan. J. Rajiv Bal. Connie Kim. Joshua Kyle Baker. Sydney Ruth Fellner. Megan Lee Necessary. Caroline Sue Boyd. Melissa Jane Gondolf. Isaac Porter Sampson. Joshua Vincent Abalos. Christina Susan Abraham. Kalen Anthony Abram. David Hurst Ackerman. Carlos Daniel Acosta. Claudio Oliver Acosta. Ashley Renee Adams. Piran Adil Adi. Alexander Blair Agathon. Abdul Wahab Ahmed. Maria Yesenia Albarran. Ana Cristina Alcantar. Ivy Alexander. Takorius Javon Alexander. Eric Ali. Mubin Murad Ali. Sanya Ali. Umair Siraj Ali. Jean Carlos Alesea. Bridget Keeley Ann Allard. Michael Austin Allen. Carlos Almanza III. Miranda Elisa Alonso. Eduardo Venegas Altamirano. Ángel Álvarez. Brandon Zai Álvarez. Amir Mosim Ali. Yvette Amparan. Chris Tayan An. Mijin An. Sarah Yuri An. Jordan David Anchundia. Whitney Gabrielle Anderson. Favaz Shuja Anwar. Javier Leonel Arevalo Jr. Austin Robert Archer. Nana Kwesi Osante. Ishaq Mohammed Aslam. Jad Elias Asmar. Elizabeth Min Ah. Stephanie Elizabeth Austin. Miguel Avalos. Karam Alexia Avalos. Saeed Awad. Abraham Adam Akwal. Dean Adam Akwal. Annie Ayoka Ayers. Henna Azesh. Alexandra Lee Bailey. Chance Norman Ball. Sierra Elaine Banks. Mason Ahmed Barakat. Haley Kirsten Barksdale. Bianca Sheree Bloom Barrett. Harris Shazad Ali Bashwani. Zion Badawala. JC Brooke Baxter. Aaron Michelle Beach. Kyle Dalton Beeler. Evan James Bell. Brian William Benson. Mark Adrian Tangio Bernardo. James Anthony Bersosa. Jordan Anthony Bertrand. Isabella Catherine Baruman. Zachary Thomas Bevel. Brooke Ann Biermeyer. Benita Bijou. Travis Justin Board. Brianna Nicole Bonzak. Stephen Vincent Borbell. Tara Miriam Boardbar. Sydney Brianne Barunda. Adam Ackley Bornan. Tyla Simone Boyland. Michael Melvin Brackman. Mason Cade Bratcher. David Brian Brazel II. Hannah Grace Breckenfield. Devin John Bresgill. Dylan Wesley Brock. Brianna Nicole Brookins. Charles Christopher Brown. Jonathan James Brown. Kayla Nicole Brown. Mia Simone Brown. Haley Amanda Buck. Absara Aziz Budwani. Kirsten Lene Budwine. Cameron Reed Burchett. Kyle Reed Burris. Jeremiah Tyrone Caldwell. Alexis Marie Callahan. Shannon Marie Callan. Eric Robert Camino. Megan Elizabeth Cannington. Rachel Renee Carmine. Daniel Gerardo Carmona Martinez. Kenneth Giovanni Carranza Martinez. Kristen Elizabeth Carroll. Ashley Emmeline Case. Alana Noel Castañeda Colby. Brianna Sol Castañon. Zenaida Cassandra Castillo. Irma Lilia Castro. Jesus Antonio Cerero. Yeun Cha. Amber Chagani. Sonober Chagani. Dallas Garrett Chagoya. Zachary James Chambly. Anam Salim Charanya. Geronimo Chavez Jr. Stephen Lee Cheshire. Benjamin Noah Chirdo. Julia Soyun Cho. Catherine June Chong. Vicente Cisneros. Alyssa Nicole Coleman. Elizabeth Ruby Coleman. Catherine Monserrat Collazo. Clay Daniel Colley. Jameson Edward Cooper. Nicoletta Jasmine Coppage. Luis Alfredo Cortez Vasquez. Rachel Charlene Cotton. Kayla Denise Cox. William Dusty Crawford. Natalie Denise Cuesta. Eduardo Cuevas. Tanner Allen Curfew. Josh Thomas David. Alec Riley Davis. Danny Earl Davis Jr. Ethan Brooks Davis. Hannah Elizabeth Davis. Christian Madison Dawson. Kristen Deirdre Day. Rehan Khan Nader Khan Daya. Guadalupe Tafoya de la Cruz. Noah James Dean. Paul Daniel Delgado. Ryan Daniel DeYear. Alakan Mahmoud Danani. Ashley Joe Dixon. Nathaniel Domingo Dolores. Emily Angelique Dominguez. Brian Donaldson Drew. Joshua William Drury. Joy Megan Dulworth. Richard Drake Dunlap. Jennifer Kaylee Donahue. Destin Daz Dupas. Arthur Lee Dyer. Anthony Joseph Dayub. Dominique Leanne Easley. Corey Quentin Eberhart. Zaina Nasser El-Kuza. Leo James Ernst. Evelyn Guadalupe Escareno. Hannah Marie Evans. Jacelyn K. Evans. Reginald Lee Evans Jr. Vincent Joe Fabula. Christopher Robert Fago. Evan Edward Farhood. Huntington Quinn Farmer. Andre Luis Ferrero. Haley Lisa Finch. Brendan Elliott Fitzgerald. Christian Deeds Fletcher. Courtney Marie Foster. Kiana Regine Franklin. Richard John Friedel Jr. Marcos Jesus Galvan Rodriguez. Angelo Hazard Garbut II. Nicole Samantha Garcia. Maria Fernanda Garibay. Alfredo Guillermo Garzona Jr. Felipe Gaithan Jr. Sharon Annie George. Callie Marie Germany. Eileen Alejandra Gil. Salman Shaukat Jelani. Jordan Catherine Gilbert. Jordan Taylor Gilliam. Brianna Sapphire Gilmore. Victoria Taylor Glasscock. Nikaya Renee Goffney. Cristian Gonzalez. Emily Louise Goodall. Jalen DeMarcus Goodwin. Kendra Marie Gordon. Victoria Susan Gordon. Kylie Marie Gorney. Malcolm D'Angelo Hawthorne. Shelby Cheyenne Graham. Jacob Merrill Greenwell. Andrew Scott Greenwood. Fabian Brandon Gregorio. Landon David Haas. Brandon Albert Hacker. Sarah Elizabeth Halimi. Tiffany Amber Hall. Chandler Thomas Halverson. Charles Addison Hamilton. Tristan James Hamrick. Jenny Jiwoo Han. Christopher Michael Harland. Joshua Christian Harley. Coyne Jordan Harris. Cole Jeffrey Harding. Alexandra Josepha Hayes. Julian Ali Haywood. Jelani Omar Heath. Kenneth Matthew Heil. Sagar K. Hamani. Deja Renee Michelle Henderson. Zachary Todd Herman. Elizabeth Herrera. Christian Corey Herrera. Christian Michael Herman. Omar Malik Hicks Onu. Jennifer Lee Hinton. Justin Tamhu Hong. Shay Lewis Holcomb. Ashley Nicole Holdorf. Natalie Elizabeth Holland. James Patrick Hopkins. Catherine Elizabeth Hopkins. Julia Brooke Houchin. Hunter Ray Howell. Anna Mackenzie Hubbard. Ryan Thomas Huff. Joshua Michael Hughes. Braden John Holkowich. Jordan Lee Eichler. Marie de Jesus Enguanzo. Arusa Nadim Iqbal. Ajith Isaac. Ainsley Michelle Jackson. Nishali Patel Jackson. Samuel Ray Jackson. Tina Jagan. Esmeralda Jaimes Reguiar. Lauren Elizabeth Jansen. Dylan Jacob John. Justin Alex John. Nithan Jacob John. Steffi Marin John. Jaron Nelson Johnson. Jewel Sarah Johnson. Joshua Antonio Johnson. Kennedy Bryn Johnson. Tierra Deshelle Johnson. Carissa Kayla Jolly. Gage C. Jones. Lorenzo Jones III. Montea Nicole Jones. Julie Jew. Angeli Joseph. Dante Joseph. Joel John Joseph. Elise Renee Kaylee. Cameron James Carano. Kevin Sean Keeler. Melissa Nicole Kelly. Haley Nicole Kemp. Megan Rochelle Kendrick. Sean Patrick Kerr. Han Kirsten. Annabelle Kim. Daniel Kim. E-Ray Kim. Ji-Young Kim. Jonathan Kim. Namwoo Kim. Alexa Kayulani Kim. Corey Everett King. Clinton Riley Kirk. Robert Lloyd Kirkwood. Kelly Lauren Crowder. Cole Edward Krupa. Iris Sunhyo Kwan. Sana Lalani. Elizabeth Caroline Laloche. Angelica Nicole Lamb. Paris Michael Lambert. Diana Lisette Lara. David Michael Laster. Kristen Jane Lathers. Andy Kwong Lee. Wen Lei. Jane S. Lee. Ji-Young Lee. Jungjae Lee. Richard Yongam Lee. Vanessa Danielle Lee. Jillian Avery Lineweaver. Amanda Lee Lilly. Jungyoung Lim. Wongchul Lim. Alexis Mercer Lindahl. Amanda Noel Garcia Lindiag. Tristan Lane Little. Carla Lopez. Flor Angelica Lopez. Carla Nathalie Lopez. Anna Gabriela Lorenzana Sanchez. Lindsay Caitlin Lovett. Paul Ross Lau IV. Joel Luciano Tran. Andres Dragan Lukic. Young Hee Lee. Eric Long. Vitaly Lupasco. Adeline Hope Lutz. Lisa Lai. Jason Daniel Lynch. Faraz Madani. Fiza Mahmood. Kenneth Ladale Maloney. Shane Hussein Manji. Austin Cole Manley. Samuel Burton Manring. Benjamin Austin Marsh. Daisy Marie Martinez. Israel Arturo Martinez. Jared Alexander Martinez. Ninoshka Ilka Martinez. Olivia Renee Martinez. Brenda Anari Martinez Maldonado. Muhammad Kazer Master. Abraham Putavitil Matthew. Roshan Matthew. Stephen Chirail Matthew. Brittany Nicole McCaleb. Mia Isabella McClelland. Isaiah Valentine McDaniel. Jacqueline Olivia McGoy. Matthew Wyatt Bushyhead McGee. Michael John Bushyhead McGee. Darby Jean McKinney. Sean Robert McKinney. James Ryan McKillop. Demarcus Lee McKinstry. Edward Lee Medina. Michelle Yingming Mendoza. Ulissa Cristal Mendez. Rishi Tarun Marai. Claire Patrice Mitch. Lee Douglas Miller. Sarah Elizabeth Myron. Mason David Mitchell. Rebecca Amanda Molina. Camille Monette. Chase Austin Montano. Briandolyn Tasia Moore. Dylan Matthew Moore. Jessica Louise Moore. Rohina Rafiq Musa. Sagar Babu Muzikulam. Jasmine Armani Moran. Deja Ayana Morgan. Taryn Diane Morris Hunter. Nakia Monet Moses. Aisha Munir. Juliana Munoz. Brashad Malik Murrell. Keelan Brianna Simone Murrell. Bibin Joseph Milo. Rohit Radhar Krishnan Nair. Aldair Nahira. Ileana Navarro. Jacob Earl Neal. Molly Catherine Neal. Skylar Renee Ned. Alexander Clevenger Neth. Johnny Kimo Nikumbai. Joanne Kuhn Wynn. Carrie Wynn. Monica Halan Wynn. Sharon Wynn. Thomas Van Wynn. Tin Van Wynn. Vivian Quinn V. Wynn. Jimmy Visay Ness. Ryan Jong No. Holly Ann Norton. Brianne Simone Nunnerly. Riley Ann O'Hara. David O. Andrew O. Christian Michael Olivares. Alexis Ann Ousley. Castle Christian Mozart Overhue. Devin Malik Owens. Erica Christina Pagan. Adrian Palma. Brooka Janelle Palmer. Annika Angeli Paloma. Leonardo Arthur Penjamanin. Hannah Jue Park. Joseph Park. Caleb Wukyon Park. Courtney Roshan Monique Pugh. Nia Monet Parker. Antoine Jonathan Partee. Jessica Elise Pasquale. Needy Devang Patel. Punkti Patel. Renu Sabu Paul. Gabriel Isaac Paz. Armando Pelaez. Paulina Renee Pena. Tamaria Lachey Perkins. Dylan Ryan Perry. Nan Soon Pham. Devin Maxwell Pierce. Jessica Catherine Pike. Nicholas Peyton Pelletier. Grace Christine Popsicle. Molly Elaine Popsicle. Alexis Ray Preston. Jessica Ann Price. Brittany Marie Priest. Madeline Claire Prosnick. Ali Pungiani. Ariel Lorraine Purify. Celeste Ann Pyle. Monique Lachey Qualls. Neftali de Jesus Quinones. Jaden Ryan Racine. Chris Reagan. Janae Marie Rochelle. Madeline Claire Rainwater. Sinu Raju. Michelle Ramirez Gonzalez. Samantha Nicole Rayo. Damian Micah Ray. Irene Reyes Lisea. Adam Bradbury Reck. Suwada Rezamatovich. Amra Rezdik. Fatina Amna Rahman. Skylar Elizabeth Rankin. Elaine Victoria Rimbecki. Evan Thomas Rimbecki. David Arthur Rewerts. Samuel Reyes. Romulo Suplicy Ribas. Erin Nicole Rieger. Emily Ann Riley. Kendall Madison Reiser. Mari Gabriela Rivera. Chloe Lauren Robert. Taylor Evan Robinson. Chris Robles Hernandez. David Brian Rodriguez. Desiree Rodriguez. Hiram Sebastian Rodriguez. Abby Rebecca Rogan. Caroline Grace Rogan. Zachary Chase Rogers. Kyra Danielle Rojas. Sidel Stewart Rossapal. Tommy Ray Ross Jr. Rhea Roy. Brandon Glenn Rudin Auerbach. Michael Blake Rumpf. Nathan Donovan Runyon. Taylor Allen Sater. Martha Sali. Amir Asif Sajan. Sean Sajan. Sherwin K. Saju. Selena Sakun. Hannah Shane Saltzman. Parker Lee Sampson. Sushil Matthew Samuel. Matthew Joseph Sanchez. Ava Gabrielle Saulnier. Caleb Stephen Sauter. Jacob Allen Sawyer. Ian Christian. Devon Charter Scott. Jake Bailey Scott. Ryan Scott Scroggins. Jeffrey Hayden Seeley. Natalie Ashton Sembrick. Esther Heyong Siu. Eric Michael Suter. Priyanka Kamlesh Shah. Zeal Maulish Shah. Jo Hee Shin. John Patrick Short. Jordan Marie Short. Zachary Scott Schuler. Aaron Cheryl Schultz. Aaron Christopher Seacrest. Kendall Nicole Simpkins. Shanning Lane Skoog. Devin Joe Smith. Joshua Isaiah Smith. Maria Ashley Smith. Angela Cherie Smithwick. Olivia Virginia Smyer. Caitlin Elizabeth Smyers. Lila Raquel Sneed. Jacob Taylor Snyder. Austin Michael Sobek. Abraham Solano. Zoe Del Saunier. Sovan Rangzi Sor. Luis Enrique Soria. Jennifer Soriano Barrera. Sarah Annabelle Sotelo. Jacob Nathaniel Soto. Michaela Joanne Soto. Zamil Gifford St. Hilaire. Raymond Michael Staffen III. Mark Tyler Stearns. Bay Hutter Stevens. Savannah Catherine Stevens. Abigail Mariah Stiles. Haley Lynn Stovall. Ruth Suh. Michael McNay Summers. Renita Daria Sun. Saira Anwar Sundrani. Aliza Amin Suteria. Matthew David Swan. Rita Fatima Sayed. Megan Elizabeth Sarzinski. Miranda Lee Sarzinski. Cody Alexander Tabor. Angelina Nicole Tapia. Mario Andres Tascon. James Allen Tanaik III. Kyler Mackenzie Terry. Bethany Jill Thacker. Tristan Edward Thatcher. Megan Darlene Teeley. Khadidra Andrea Thomas. Keith Owen Thomas Jr. Lisa Mary Thomas. Nicholas Castle Thomas. Prince Thomas. Steve Paul Thomas. Lauren Ajua Thompson Sayon. Emma Nicole Thornton. Rebecca Mary Matthew Thundiath. Christopher Addison Tibbles. Ashley Allison Tidwell. Francisco Javier Tijerina. Aaron Luciel Tolbert. Tien Van Nu Tan. Adrian Lu Tran. Stephanie Tran. Teresa Trin Tran. Linda Truong. Amsel Emanuele Viliani. Grace Van. Jacob Nicholas Van Spybrook. Blessy Miriam Varghese. Eileen Satali Vasquez. Taylor Renee Vaughn. Alicia Virgi. Ashley Marie Venturini. Kyle Allen Verhart. Jalissa Valeria Villar. Eric Dempsey Vilmer. Danish Salim Varani. Michelle Ling Vu. Tai Tan Vong. Hunter Thomas Wallen. Cameron Tate Walker. Jordan Noah Walker. Rachel Merrill Walters. James Zachary Walters. Lauren Robinson Walters. Jonathan Wang. Brenna Dawn Ward. Jalen Joshua DeKeith Washington. Jordan Caleb Washington. Pluman Justin Arkell Washington. Quincy Marquise Washington. Jesse Taylor Watkins. Alexandria Danielle Watts. Dia Wazirali. John Christopher Webb. Cindy Wee. Shelby Alexandra Wegman. Sydney Reese Weinberg. Terry Duran Wheeler Jr. Caitlin Elizabeth Whitaker. Alicia Christine White. Eric Anthony Wajaya. Brooke Margaret Williams. Mary Lou Ann Williams. Rachel Elizabeth Williams. Siobhan Quenisha Williams. Tyler Latrell Williams. Rena Lynn Willoughby. Amanda Marie Wilson. Corey Dale Wilson. Edward Banks Windle. Daniel James Woodfield. Jenny Hanyang Yang. Kian Hee Yang. Michelle Minji Yang. Aaron Simone Yeri. Lauren Marie Yates. Deborah Yu. Yoon Gook Yu. Hyunjung Yu. Jinyoung Yu. Osama bin Yusuf. Javier Ivan Samaron. Mina Ray Zamora. Joshua James Zeman.
Now, please welcome the President of the Spanish National Honor Society and the Secretary of the Senior Class, the impressive Manali Namani.
Thank you, Mr. Finch, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this momentous occasion. It is an honor to be speaking in front of you all today. We stand here today at the pinnacle of our future. We have no certainty as to where the wind will take us in the real world. However, because we are Hebron Hawks, we have been well prepared for this moment. Since we first walked into elementary school with our backpacks on our shoulders and our lunchboxes in our hands, we were introduced into a world of the unknown. We were once strangers with no sense of identity, and now look at all the wonderful friendships that we have forged over the past years. The experiences we've had together from the past 4 years ultimately have shaped us into the individuals we are now. Who knew that we would grow up to become such successful and respectable ladies and gentlemen? Well, the faculty at Hebron knew. We must thank them for going above and beyond their job descriptions by challenging and motivating us to expand our breadth of knowledge despite many severe cases of senioritis. We must thank all of them for making school about more than just classwork, but most of all, for teaching us the value of perseverance and hard work. On the other hand, our number one fans have and always will be our family. Personally, I'm on the stage because of my parents. High school has filled me with ups and downs, but my parents have kept me grounded and encouraged me to pursue my interests. My journey as a dancer would not have been possible without their full support. Not just my family, but everyone's family deserves a special thanks, as they have dedicated the past 18 years to every one of us by driving us around to every extracurricular activity, like taxi drivers, and dealing with all our sass and attitude along the way. The road here may have been bumpy, but our parents had faith in us and encouraged us to explore our interests, as they are now sending us into the world to discover our own path to success. Our parents entrusted Hebron, not any other school, but Hebron, to prepare us for what lies behind high school. And looking into the crowd this morning, I can say Hebron did a pretty good job. Hebron has not only provided a stimulating environment for us to grow as individuals, but also educated us on the changing environment, as we have had the expansion of rights for various humanitarian groups, the integration of technology in our daily lives, and even our first African American president. We will embrace the world's obstacles together, as we have from time of the swine flu outbreak in '09, the fear of the world ending in 2012, and the snowpocalypse in the recent winters. Also, we can never forget how tragic it was to be the first class not to attend Camp Clausen in the 5th grade. Despite all of the holdbacks, the class of 2015 was always united. We are now old enough to make the dreams and aspirations that the elementary school version of ourselves could not have even imagined into a reality. We can all take a step forward together towards our next adventure in life as young adults. But as you leave your mark on this world, know that in your heart you will always be a hawk, because after all, hawk pride never dies. Thank you. I'd like to now welcome my close friend and recognized peer, Hebron's orchestra president, Hector Hernandez, on stage to speak to you all.
Thank you, Manali. At this point in the ceremony, the future seems closer than ever. Our name's been called, and we've walked the stage. We'll throw our caps, and we'll enter the real world, or at least a different world than the one we know now. Standing at this edge, the last 4 years might now seem too long or still not enough, but nonetheless, our time together nears its end. Before we go our separate ways, however, let us look to the past to appreciate those who brought us here and who propel us, whether we think we're ready or not, into the next stage of our life. We are here, and we will leave here because of our families, the most constant figures in our lives, those who guide us and watch us develop through the years. One of these families is, of course, our immediate relatives, our parents, grandparents, and guardians who have known and loved us since birth. For this, I thank my parents here and my family in Colombia. Gracias, mamá, y gracias, papá. But we have other families too. We can all remember at least one class that, for a full semester, we looked forward to every day. And not just because our friends were there or we thought the material was interesting. We looked forward to that class because there, we made friends who we kept in touch with afterwards. We witnessed the passion our teacher had in their subject. And because, in that class, we discovered a part of the world. These two were families. For this, I thank Ms. Gray and Ms. Caldwell. Our life outside the classroom is defined by families. We graduate as who we are today because of the high standards instilled in us. From athletic tournaments to auditions, we joined a group of people striving to realize their abilities, to develop their talents. We worked together for a common goal, and we united under the dedicated leadership of a director or a coach. Because of them, we know that graduation is like a great performance or a single week's victory. It's an accomplishment, but by no means is it the end. For this, I thank Ms. Oyedipe, the Hebron Orchestra, the entire Fine Arts Department, as well as my PE coaches and classmates for having me in gym class 5 times throughout high school. But perhaps less obviously so, our lives are shaped by people we will never meet. We graduate today with our closest friends, dozens of acquaintances, and a fair amount of students whom we've never seen before today. No one knows all 700-something of us, but we aren't strangers either. because together we have shaped one collective Hebron Class of 15 experience that will stay with us in years to come, even if our individual memories of this experience differ wildly for each of us. We aren't strangers because we share the fact that we are not the same people we were when we came in 4 or 3 or 2 years ago. Like the main hallway's slow but steady color change from forest green to Hebron blue, together we have watched each other blossom. We leave here because of our families, the ones we created in the classroom, in our ensembles and teams, and as a graduating class. Today we follow in the footsteps of over 10 graduating classes before us because of the efforts of the administrators, those who genuinely seek to make today's and tomorrow's success possible. My final thanks is for Mr. Finch, all of the APs, and my counselors, Ms. Hood and Ms. Schinkel, for their patience and for making Hebron a wonderful 4 years. As for the future, that edge now closer than ever before, I believe Marie Curie best summarizes the greatest lesson all of Hebron has taught us. Life is not easy for any of us, but what of that? We must have perseverance, and above all, confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something, and that this thing must be attained. So thank you, Hebron graduating class of 2015. Let's make something happen in the world together while apart, because, after all, Hawk Pride never dies. Now, please welcome our homecoming king, Mr. HHS, and senior class treasurer Victor Miller in the leading of the alma mater and turning of the tassels.
Thank you, Hector, the musical legend. My fellow Americans. Sorry, wrong speech. My fellow Hawks. There comes a time in each of our lives where we are required to attend some form of schooling. However, what you do during those years and what you accomplish is entirely up to the decisions that you make. Today, we have celebrated your greatest accomplishment, and that is your high school graduation. Each one of you made the decision to finish this race, but I pray that you do not allow this to be the end of your journey. And I pray that you continue to make the most of the hand that you are dealt, and that no matter how difficult times may seem, you persevere to the end and ultimately amaze the world. Of course, you will need help along the way, just as you've needed help to reach this point. And each of you should take the time to thank those who have assisted or maybe dragged you to this moment. And I would like to do that here real quick. A shout out to Ms. Boyd and Mr. Stroud for accepting me wholeheartedly into the Stuco fold this year. I would like to thank my coaches for teaching me and my teammates how to be strong through adversity, mostly through making us bear crawl in 300-degree weather. Thank you for that. I would like to thank the incredible faculty at Mr. Hebron, at Hebron, my bad. And yes, even the APs, a little. Lastly, I would like to thank the people who have stood by me from the beginning, and without whom I would be a train wreck of a person. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for shaping me into the man I am today. I love you. Now, my fellow Hawks, please join me in the tradition of flipping your tassels from right to left, signifying your graduation. Now, raise your talons and join me as we are leaded in the HHS alma mater by our a cappella choir. Stand, please.
Flying to
Please be seated. Now, once again, and for the final time, please help me welcome back our principal, the esteemed Mr. Scott Finch, to the podium.
Hey, stand up for me. Stand up. Dear senior class of 2015, let's make this quick. 13 senior classes have come before you. Since I've been here, each senior class seems to exceed the accomplishments of their predecessor, and so I worry, how will the current senior class surpass the accomplishments of the previous class? Despite your relatively small numbers, you are a small class, you have been great at everything. You were offered over $8 million in scholarships, and your success in academics, community service, fine arts, and athletics is unsurpassed by any previous class. As an example of your success, you've been a part of 2 state championships in girls soccer and girls cross country. Woo-hoo. Stay with me, I know it's been a long time. You have been a part of 2 silver medal finishes in UIL marching band, and your class has had the most National Merit semifinalists and finalists in Hebron's history. But perhaps your most successful quality has been your loyalty and friendship with each other. Because of this, you've created the school spirit and esprit de corps that Hebron has enjoyed over the past 4 years and what we've seen tonight here at our graduation. Though today is a joyous occasion, I sense you may have some apprehension for what lies ahead. I can see it in your eyes. I could see it down there in the pit. I'm telling you, as your principal, you'll be fine if you'll do 2 things. First is be independent. Your parents and I, for a while now, have been planning behind your back to make you independent, and now it is time to leave the nest of high school and home. Don't get us wrong. I heard an amen out there. Don't get us wrong. We love you and all, but it's time to spread your wings and fly. Get another amen, parents? All right. Besides, your parents are tired and they need a break. I got another amen. I heard it over here. But more than that, they long to see you soar and be successful out there. The second one is to obtain a job and keep it. This is the second one. This one is key. Utilize your competitive spirit to obtain a job that falls in line with your passion. Do this and you will have a wonderful life. If you do not do this, well, I'll let your parents tell you the consequences. So remember, be independent and win that dream job and keep it. Lastly, since your teachers, coaches, and sponsors have given you much at Hebron High School, much will be expected. It is also my hope that our school's motto will resonate in your life when the days become difficult, and that you will accept nothing less than success. The staff of Hebron High School and I wish you the best. Be careful out there, come back and see us, and let us know of the great things you're doing. Congratulations to you, Hebron High School's graduating class of 2015. You may now toss your hat. Teachers and ushers, we may now begin the recessional. Thank you, parents. Thank you, families and guests. Have a great afternoon.